Hello everyone, welcome back to SJ's classes. I don't know how many of you literature students have come across the name Amrita Sher-Gil. She is a Hungary-born Indian painter and she is often referred to as the pioneer of modern art in India. It's one of her paintings that I will discuss today. The painting is titled Ancient Storyteller. Before we move into the painting, here is a short introduction to the painter Amrita Sher-Gil. She was a Hungarian-born Indian painter and was one of the most impressive as well as the most gifted Indian artists of the pre-colonial era. She was born on January 30th, 1913 in Budapest, which is now the capital and the most populous city of Hungary. She had a precocious talent for painting, which was noticed early and was encouraged by her family, especially by her uncle Erwin Bhakte, who was an Indologist. Indologist is a person who studies history, culture, language, and literature of India, and he was himself a painter. Now, she is often referred to as the pioneer of modern Indian art. Pioneer means someone who initiates something or who opens up something. So she is now often referred to as the pioneer of modern Indian art. Sher-Gil's early paintings display a significant influence of the Western modes of painting, specifically the Post-Impressionism style. Now, as you are learning about Sher-Gil and her paintings, it's important that you also have an understanding regarding the movement called Post-Impressionism. But before I speak about Post-Impressionism, I think I should give you an idea of what Impressionism is. Only then you can understand what Post-Impressionism is. Impressionism was perhaps the most important movement in the whole of modern painting. At some point in the 1860s, a group of young artists decided to paint what they saw, thought, and felt. They weren't interested in painting history, mythology, or the lives of great men, and they didn't seek perfection in visual appearances. Instead, the artists or painters who were part of this movement called Impressionism, they tried to get down on canvas an impression of how a landscape, thing, or person appeared to them at a certain moment in time. This is exactly why the movement received the name Impressionism. So they didn't want to paint history, mythology, or lives of great men or legends. They wanted to put on canvas how things appear to them, how landscape or a building or things, how they appear to them. That is exactly what these impressionists try to record on their canvases. Now let's come to post-impressionism. The term post-impressionism was coined by the English art critic Roger Fry in 1906. It is a predominantly French art movement that developed roughly between 1886 and 1905, and it represented both an extension of the earlier movement called Impressionism and also a rejection of this style's inherent limitations. Something like post-structuralism. It was a continuation as well as a break from it. Just like that, post-impressionism is also a continuation of impressionism and also a break from it. The artists continued using vivid colors, ethic application of paint and real-life subject matter, but were more inclined to emphasize geometric forms, distort forms for an expressive effect, and use unnatural and seemingly random colors. Some of the prominent painters who imitated this movement are Paul Gauguin, Georges Seurat. Now, even though it's spelled like that, it's pronounced as Georges Seurat. Vincent van Gogh, and the eldest of the group, Paul Cézanne, who is often referred to as the father of post-impressionism. So that was about Impressionism and Post-Impressionism. Now let's come back to Sher-Gil. She first gained recognition at the age of 19 for her oil painting titled Young Girls. This is the painting that gained her recognition, her very first painting that gained her recognition. She was later influenced by the wall paintings of the Ajanta caves in western India, and she attempted to fuse their aesthetic with the European oil painting techniques she had learned in Paris. Now, I had said earlier that her initial paintings displayed a significant influence of the Western modes of painting, but once she had a tour of this country, especially the southern part of India, sorry, western part of India, she was influenced by this cave paintings and architecture, and she tried to blend the European style as well as the Indian traditional style. She made a tour of South India in 1937 and produced her famous South Indian trilogy consisting of Brahmacharis, South Indian villagers going to market, and Bride's Toilet. This is her famous trilogy: Bride's Toilet, South Indian villagers going to market, Brahmacharis. She was also the youngest as well as the only Asian artist to be elected as an associate of the Grand Salon in Paris. Grand Salon or Salon is the official art exhibition of Paris. For her work, Young Girls, she was awarded with the gold medal in Paris, which was considered as a prestigious award there. The works of Amrita Sher-Gil have been declared as national art treasures by the Government of India. Most of her paintings are in the National Gallery of Modern Art in New Delhi. Though her paintings were largely unsold while she was alive, they fetched impressive amount of money later on, making her one of the priciest Indian women painters of all time. In 2006, Village Scene, which is a painting that is being displayed on the screen, it was sold for 6.9 crore rupees in New Delhi. Back then, it was the highest amount paid for any painting in India. Amrita Sher-Gil died on December 5th, 1941. The exact cause of her death still remains largely unknown, although it is believed to be health complications from her second failed abortion. So that is all regarding the painter. Now, this is the painting that I will be elaborating upon. This painting is called Ancient Storyteller. It is an oil on canvas painting and it was painted in 1940. Sher-Gil combined architecture and figures to create an intimate rural domestic scene. Now, if you look at the picture, you can identify some infrastructures, some architectural shapes as well as certain figures. So she combines both architecture and figure to create an intimate rural domestic scene. It's a household scene that is being portrayed through the painting. In this painting, the artist depicts an old man who sits in front of three children and he appears to be narrating to them some interesting stories. There is also an old female figure who cooks for the kids. The painting could also be a depiction of the feminine world, as you find the old woman who is engaged in her household chores and the man sits in a leisurely manner narrating stories to kids. This is one of the interpretations that this painting could be symbolic of the feminine world, how they are deeply involved with the household chores, how they keep themselves busy with the household chores, or how they are forced to be within the four walls of the house, keeping themselves busy with household chores. Two other apparently female figures have also been portrayed in the background, and they too are involved in some chores of the house, unlike the man and the children. All these happen within the walls, probably of a house that is surrounded by thick greenery and huge trees. That is what we understand when we look at the background of the painting. The use of bright colors on the women in the painting could be interpreted as the artist's implicit way of attracting our attention to these characters. That's why I earlier said that it could be a painting that discusses the feminine world. That's why she is asking us to concentrate, or she is trying to rivet our attention towards these female figures. We also have bright colors used on the huge trees as well as on the portraits. This might be the way how Sher-Gil established a connection between all these aspects: nature, the feminine beauty, the females of the household, the portraits that surround her. The few bright flower petals at the bottom that seem to surround the woman must be a tribute by the artist to the female character that provides sustenance for the family. So she is the one who cooks food for the family. She is the one who helps the family to survive. One who takes away their hunger, gives them sumptuous food. So it might be that painter might have given some sort of a tribute to the character by placing a few flower petals around her. The clothes of the characters in the painting reflect the fact that they are ordinary men and women who live a simple life. That's why I earlier said that she blended both architecture and figure to create an intimate rural domestic scene. It's a household scene that is being portrayed through the painting. So that is all about the painting. I hope you have an understanding regarding the artist as well as the painter. If you have any doubts to clarify, please do post them as comments. And also, if you have literature students who would like resources in the form of video lessons, please do share this channel's link or this video lessons link to them. Thank you so much for being with me.